Hello and welcome. This is my first stamp carving video. This month, September, I'm going to try to carve a stamp every day about the size of an Erin Condren sticker, so that I can stamp some stickers to give in pocket letters and to put in my planner and things like that. So this is a template that I've printed out about the size of an Erin Condren sticker, each space, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the supplies that I'm going to use. This is just computer paper, and I have a pencil, and this is a stamp block. This is cut off from a larger block, but it's this gray topped white rubber that I got from the store called Blick, which is in downtown Portland, but I'm pretty sure they have locations in other cities. It's just got this thin gray layer of rubber at the top, and I believe this is latex free, so if you have a latex allergy, it won't cause any breathing problems for you. So then I'm going to do my actual stamp carving on this old Creative Memories trimmer, because it's got a cutting mat on the top that's about the right size. And in the drawer I keep my most used carving tools. This is just a carving a gouge tool size 1. You can buy them in packages of 2, and then this is a calligrapher pen, and they fit right in because it's curved, and the space for the calligraphy nibs are the same curvature as the carving tools. So I like to use these because it kind of feels like I'm holding a pen. And then I just use an X-Acto knife to cut the rubber, especially the edge of the rubber, away from my image so that I can see where the edges of my image are when I'm stamping. Normally, to test my stamp, I will just dab the ink on it and then press it down like that. But if I'm going to be stamping a lot more of them, I'll stick it to a clear block with some double-sided tape, and it'll hold until I peel it off later when I'm done using it. Now the images, I like to pull images from all kinds of things. Sometimes I make them up, sometimes I look online. This is a really neat book of eraser stamp carving. I buy these whenever I can find them. I have just lots and lots of different images, and the instructions are all not in English, so you probably should already know how to carve stamps before you turn to these. It does have some picture diagrams that you could follow if you're really good at that. This had a really nice paper cover, but they tend to get destroyed in my house, so I take it off. And I've got several. This one is actually a doodling book, like a pen doodling book. But it's got lots of great ideas for stamp carving. This one has a lot of different designs that are more, I want to say Swedish style, but it could be Scandinavian maybe. I could be very wrong. And they're really just a huge variety of designs. And then here is another one. I don't have that many, but I know there are some artists who put out stamp carving books, and I know I have some more somewhere. I'm just not sure where they are. So as I find them while I'm stamp carving and going through my storage, I'll show them. I buy these at a little bookstore in an Asian grocery store in Beaverton that I go to once in a while, where I buy all the cute stationery that I put in my pocket letters. So let's get started. I think today I'm going to carve a little to-do list. We just started school back up, and I want to do a school theme. So I think I'm going to draw right here. If you can tell what this is, this can go for several different themes, but I'm just drawing a ruler, and then I'm going to draw some lines for writing to-do list items. And whatever I draw is what I want the stamp image to be when I stamp it. So to do. And I'm kind of pressing down hard with the pencil because I'm going to transfer this onto the rubber. The camera is at a different angle than I'm used to, so bear with me. One of the reasons I do it on paper first is because I wanted to include letters, and I'm not always great at writing letters backwards or remembering to write my letters backwards, because as you carve it, you need to carve the reverse image. And I'm just going to use the other end of the calligrapher pen, and I'm just going to burnish the paper to make sure the lead from the pencil transfers to the rubber. Oh yeah, I forgot there were letters at the top. If it's a small enough design, you could probably just use like your fingernail like this. Okay. Now, some of these lines might not be as dark as I need them to be, so I'll just draw right onto the rubber. And sometimes I'll draw a design and it won't really have a front and back or a left and right side, so I'll draw it straight onto the rubber sometimes, but usually I go with the transferring method. Oops. Especially because I tend to make mistakes. Okay, now I'm ready to start carving. Let's see, this box might be in my way. Hold on. Pardon me while I shift this over. There we go. Notice I'm not carving towards my fingers or towards myself. It's because this thing is actually pretty sharp. I might be creating more of a shadow than I intend. Is that better? trying to do the outside edge of the ruler. I'm wanting this image to be a white background so I can maybe stamp it onto colored paper or color it in later. And this might be a total flop because it's been actually quite a while since I've carved, and I'm thinking that I might be out of practice, but all it'll take is a few days and I'll be back up to speed. So let's see, probably do a few of these. Because one thing about a ruler is that the lines are kind of even, like they come out to about the same space, the same distance. I think I want to make the lines not go all the way to the edge. I think that'll be easier than doing all of those inner corners. There, and then I can just do that. You can see I'm carving a little bit deeper down that little ravine, and you can see the white. Now I know to stop there because if I carve any deeper, the integrity of my stamp might fail over time, and I really don't want my hard work to fall apart later on. So I'm going to carve the longer lines out first, and I'm leaving the pencil marks. I'm carving away what's not part of my pencil plan. Still on the camera? Sorry about that. I tend to pull it closer and closer and closer to me because I think I enjoy carving these on my lap while sitting on a couch and watching Netflix. But for now I'm doing it on a table, and this isn't something I can wear my glasses with because it's up close work. But if I can't have it up close to me, I tend to want to pull it even closer. Oops. Try not to get too thin of a line. Well, it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. Alright, now I want to do the shorter lines, and I'll do it about there. Out. I've carved a lot of stamps. I followed Julie Faye Fan Balzer's online class and just kind of fell in love with the idea that I could make my own tools to use for art journaling, and then I started making cards for Operation Right Home, which they don't really like. They had a whole bunch of rules, and they didn't really like the handmade tools aspect for the longest time. They wanted actual scrapbook materials because they knew the longevity of those materials. So I didn't make any stamps with my hand carved, or make any cards with my hand carved stamps. And then when I stopped making cards for Operation Right Home because the need dwindled and my time for them dwindled and my interest for them dwindled, I started carving stamps again. And basically just carved whatever I wanted, which made it enjoyable for me again. And then I started doing pocket letters, and then I didn't have time to carve stamps because I was too busy making charms and paper clips and zines and planner stickers. Although for my first few I did actually use some hand-carved stamps. Like I made a Buddha themed one and an octopus themed one, some of my earliest pocket letters, and I carved stamps for those. Oh, and the coffee themed one that I made, which was like one of my very first pocket letters for the Life Planners group, I carved some coffee themed stamps for that. So let's see if I can do this as evenly as possible. Probably not. But it'll look semi like a ruler, at least. Oh, I'm starting to go too much into the white. So, one of the things that got me into wanting to carve my own stamps was letterboxing, which is similar to geocaching, but instead of having to collect a bunch of trinkets and look for like treasure boxes in a general vicinity, you have actual instructions for where the box is found usually. I mean, some of them are like hard to find with puzzles and things. So you know right which log to look behind and how many paces to go in which direction and things like that. It was more like following an old treasure map instead of GPS coordinates. And you found a box, and inside the box would be a logbook and a hand-carved stamp. And you carry around your personal logbook and your personal signature hand-carved stamp, and ink pads and things like that, whatever you wanted to stamp with. And you stamp your logbook. You stamp your logbook with the stamp you find, so that you have a collection of all the letterboxes you found, and you stamp your log stamp into the letterbox logbook, so that there is a record of all the letterboxers who found that box. Does that make any sense? Anyway, you can go to atlasquest.com or letterboxingnorthamerica.com to find out more information and to get clues. It's a lot of fun. I mean, take the whole family out. We took our kids out when my youngest was in a front carrier and our middle child was barely toddling and our oldest was walking. So, I mean, you meet lots of friendly people out there, but you also come across people on horses and people with dogs and all kinds of things that the kids just love. It's a lot of walking though, so some of them are really easy to find. But anyway, hand carving your own log stamp is like part of the fun. So I think my ruler is done, and I'm going to have to stop this video and start up a part 2 because it's getting long and it's going to take all night to load this one video. So I'll be right back. Bye!